Lee Min-ho, one of the most beloved and admired actors in South Korea and across Asia, shocked fans recently when he broke down in tears during an emotionally raw and deeply personal revelation. Before we dive into this heartbreaking yet inspiring moment, don't forget to subscribe to stay updated with the latest stories about your favorite stars and the secrets they rarely share with the world. What Lee Min-ho unveiled was something no one expected, a story of silent suffering, a confession that pulled back the curtain on the private pain he's carried for years, hidden behind that charming smile and charismatic presence. For more than a decade, Lee Min-ho has been a symbol of success, strength, and effortless charm. From his breakout role in Boys Over Flowers to his recent work in Pachinko, he has captured hearts globally, portraying characters full of confidence and resilience. But behind the spotlight, fame, and red carpet appearances lies a man who has endured trials that most fans could never have imagined. This recent emotional confession came during an intimate interview, where for the first time, Lee Min-ho chose to open up about the wounds he has long kept hidden, wounds that shaped him into who he is today. The atmosphere in the room was quiet and intense. It started like any other promotional conversation, light-hearted, with gentle smiles exchanged between him and the interviewer. But gradually, the tone shifted. When asked about the pressures of fame and how he really feels when the cameras are off, Lee Min-ho hesitated. He looked down, taking a long breath. And then, with trembling lips and a voice filled with emotion, he whispered something that instantly froze everyone in the room. "There were times I didn't think I would make it." His eyes welled up, his usual composure cracking like fragile glass. He reached for a tissue, but the tears had already started to fall, slowly, silently. What followed was a deeply moving story, one that painted a picture of a man who had achieved everything on the outside, while feeling empty and broken on the inside. He spoke about the unbearable pressure of being perfect, of being constantly judged not just for his acting but for how he looked, walked, and even smiled. "People see me as this perfect person. But I'm not. I've been lonely more times than I can count," he said, his voice breaking. The admission shook fans. To hear someone so admired, so seemingly untouchable, admit to such vulnerability was both heartbreaking and incredibly brave. But it didn't end there. Lee Min-ho went on to share that after a near-fatal car accident early in his career, he not only had to undergo physical rehabilitation but also suffered mentally in ways that weren't visible to anyone. "Everyone was focused on whether I could walk again. But no one asked if I was okay up here," he said, tapping his temple gently, his eyes red with emotion. The crash, which left him hospitalized for months, had changed him, not just physically but emotionally and mentally. He confessed that after the accident, he spiraled into a dark place. "I would lie in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering if this was all worth it. Was I really living for myself, or just for the cameras?" His tears flowed more freely now, the pain clearly still very real despite the passing years. He admitted to battling thoughts of quitting acting altogether. "There were nights I would cry myself to sleep. No one knew. Not even my closest friends," he said, his voice cracking. As his story unfolded, fans watching the interview couldn't hold back their emotions either. Social media exploded with messages of support, sympathy, and overwhelming love. Many shared how they, too, felt comforted knowing that someone as strong and successful as Lee Min-ho had experienced similar struggles. But perhaps the most powerful part of his confession was not the pain, but the resilience that came after it. Lee Min-ho revealed that during his darkest hours, it was the love of his fans and the letters they sent, sometimes simple, sometimes poetic, that reminded him he mattered. "There was this one letter," he said, smiling softly through his tears. "It said, 'You saved me without knowing it. I hope someone saves you, too.' That line stayed with me. It still does." He clutched his chest, as if holding that memory close to his heart. It was this support that pulled him back from the brink, he admitted. Not just his fans, but his mother, who remained his anchor during those stormy nights. "She told me, 'You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be my son,'" he recalled, crying once again. "That saved me." Lee Min-ho also spoke about how he started therapy quietly, away from the public eye. There's still a stigma about mental health, especially for men. Especially in our industry, he said. But I knew I had to do it, or I would lose myself completely. It was during therapy that he began to understand his trauma, to give a name to his anxiety, to make peace with the person he used to hide from everyone, his real self. He revealed that his acting took on deeper meaning after those sessions. But now, after years of carrying these silent burdens, Lee Min-ho said he's finally starting to find peace. I'm learning to forgive myself for not being okay all the time. I'm learning that it's okay to not smile if I don't feel like smiling. And perhaps most beautifully, he said, I'm learning to love the version of me that no one claps for. His message resonated deeply, not just with fans, but with countless others who have struggled in silence. The video of his emotional revelation quickly went viral, sparking conversations about mental health, the pressure of perfection, and the courage it takes to be vulnerable. In the days that followed, fans from around the world flooded social media with messages of encouragement and gratitude. Hashtags like #WeLoveYouMinho and #It'sOkayToNotBeOkay trended across platforms. One fan wrote, "You made me laugh when I was depressed. Knowing you've gone through pain too, it makes me feel less alone." Another commented, "Thank you for being honest. You gave us more than just entertainment, you gave us your heart." Lee Min-ho's team later released a statement thanking fans for their outpouring of love, and the actor himself posted a handwritten letter on Instagram, expressing how much the support meant to him. "I was scared to open up. But you held my hand through it. I promise to keep walking forward, not just for you, but with you," he wrote. This unexpected moment of vulnerability from one of Asia's biggest stars has changed how fans see him, not as an unreachable idol, but as a human being with struggles, emotions, and the courage to share them. It was a reminder that even those who seem to have it all are still navigating their own battles. Lee Min-ho's tearful revelation was more than just a confession, it was a call for empathy, for compassion, and for understanding. It showed us that strength isn't in hiding our pain, but in facing it. And in choosing to share it, despite the fear of judgment. And in doing so, he has given countless others the strength to speak their own truths. So, the next time you see him smile on screen, remember the story behind that smile, a story of pain, resilience, and healing. And let it remind you that you're never truly alone. There's always someone out there who understands, someone who's walked a similar path. Lee Min-ho didn't just entertain us with this revelation, he moved us, deeply. He showed us what it means to be real in a world that constantly demands perfection. And for that, we thank him. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss more powerful stories like this, stories that touch hearts, inspire hope, and reveal the truth behind the fame.